What are Pakistan's expectations from Doha round of talks? Then we have seen there have been round of talks in Istanbul. The reason of collapse in the talks was the attitude of Afghan Taliban. In the beginning, they agreed to Pakistan's concern, but after getting some instructions from Kabul, again they changed their stance, and the stance was, of course, that they might be reluctant in taking action or giving concrete assurance to Pakistan that they will carry out decisive action against these militant groups who are based and operating from Afghanistan soil against Pakistan.
Well, their expectation may be whatever, but our expectation of the Taliban is that they would let us live in peace, that we have suffered enough from terrorism emanating from Afghanistan. We had helped them all this while in the past because we wanted Afghanistan to be peaceful.
The temporary ceasefire, do you think that it could lead to a permanent ceasefire between Pakistan and Afghanistan?
The ceasefire depends on the cessation of hostilities by Afghan side in terms of providing support to terrorists inside the TTP. We want them to stop sending and stop giving space to TTP terrorists to come and shed Pakistani blood. They don't realize that for the people of Afghanistan, a peaceful Afghanistan is there, yes, but at the same time, this kind of space that they have given to terrorist entities is injurious to Afghanistan itself.
What forced Afghan Taliban not to take action against them? Why they have been reluctant in taking action, which finally led to this conflict?
I think, Mateen Sahib, that they have an illusion that they won Kabul by force, by the dint of the gunpowder. No, they did not. Americans themselves went back because there was a consensus in the United States that they did not want to engage in distant wars. Pakistan has shown that it has the capacity to defend itself. If we can defend ourselves against a much bigger neighbor, India, in May 2025, and the world has seen that, then Taliban should be under no confusion. They should not think that they can win this war. Instead, they should cooperate and collaborate with Pakistan. There is much to gain for the people of Afghanistan, for the people of Pakistan, if there is cooperation between the two countries.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, in today's conversation, we will focus on Pakistan-Afghanistan conflict. We will focus that why Afghan Taliban, with whom Pakistan remained engaged for last several years, rather several decades, particularly after 15th August 2021, that particularly 4 years very close engagement. What happened to Afghan Taliban who have turned hostile towards Pakistan? They have not paid attention to Pakistani security concerns. They have not paid attention to Pakistani security requests, particularly a message to Afghan Taliban that they should take decisive action against terror groups operating based in Afghanistan. But despite their commitment, they violated commitment and did not take action. Pakistan continued to suffer heavy civilian and military losses. Very high-profile military officers embrace martyrdom. Number of civilians over last, only precise data is over last 2-3 months. There have been scores of high-profile terrorist incidents in Balochistan and in KP, which directly emanated from Afghan soil. There have been border infiltration attempts by these militants, which number of times Pakistani security forces filed. Finally, Pakistan took a brave action and targeted some of the terrorist hideouts, which prompted Afghan Taliban, along with the terrorist outfit militants, to attack Pakistan. Pakistan gave a very strong buffeting response. Following this, then ultimately a ceasefire was announced. First round of talks held in Doha. Later on, another round held in Istanbul. Next round is expected on 6th of November. again in Istanbul. So in today's conversation, we will try to find that what are Pakistan's expectations, whether this ceasefire could be converted into an everlasting and related issue. We are fortunate to have with us one of the most seasoned former diplomat, former foreign secretary, Ms. Ambassador Aizaz Ahmad Chaudhry. Ambassador Aizaz Ahmad Chaudhry, sir, very warm welcome to Program Insight in V News English.
Thank you, Mateen Haider Saab, for inviting me.
So it's always a pleasure to have you in our program. I will just begin with this, that what are Pakistan's expectations from Doha round of talks? Then we have seen there have been round of talks in Istanbul, and Istanbul talks were near collapse with the mediation of Turkey. Both delegations were again called back, and then dialogue resumed. The reason of collapse in the talks was the attitude of Afghan Taliban. In the beginning, they agreed to Pakistan's concern, but after getting some instructions from Kabul, again they changed their stance. And the stance was, of course, that they might be reluctant in taking action or giving concrete assurance to Pakistan that they will carry out decisive action against these militant groups who are based and operating from Afghanistan soil against Pakistan. Ambassador Chaudhry.
Well, their expectation may be whatever, but our expectation of the Taliban is that they would let us live in peace, that we have suffered enough from terrorism emanating from Afghanistan. We had helped them all this while in the past because we wanted Afghanistan to be peaceful. That's it. We had absolutely no other desire. We know that after the Soviets were pulled back, they pushed out of Afghanistan, the Mujahideen started fighting amongst themselves. And from this chaos emerged the Taliban phenomena. Now, Pakistan was concerned that, here is a country in our West which has become a safe haven for terrorist entities, which even, those terrorists went ahead and created big, catastrophic terrorism incidents all over the world. And we thought that maybe Taliban will be different because they are fighting for their own homeland against any foreign occupation. And they unfortunately did not turn out to be a government. They are still behaving as insurgent groups. They are not acting like a state. They don't realize that they had made certain commitments to America in February of 2020. And all those commitments, they have violated all of them. They had committed that the girls will be allowed to study, women will be allowed to work, that there will be no terrorist entities inside Afghanistan, that they will allow, an inclusive setup like Tajik, Uzbeks, Hazaras. Pashtuns are only 40%. The rest are Tajik, Uzbek, Hazaras, and there must be an inclusive government so that there is a peace. Now, they have violated each one of those commitments that they had given to the US and through the US to the entire international community. So Pakistan had helped them all these years. Even Pakistan took the blame for America's lack of success in Afghanistan, only and only because we wanted to see a peaceful Afghanistan. We have absolutely no favorites, no desire there. All this propaganda of strategic depth and favorites, etc., is a propaganda. Pakistan just wanted a peaceful Afghanistan for the people of Afghanistan and also for the people of Pakistan. If they cannot deliver that, if they continue to support TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which has been shedding Pakistani blood, which has been causing enormous amount of grief and injury to ordinary citizens of Pakistan, particularly in the KPK province and also in Balochistan. So naturally, Pakistan is upset. So Pakistan's expectation, Mr. Mateen Haider, is very, very clear. We want peaceful Afghanistan, and we want TTA to stop TTP from taking refuge there, grouping themselves, planning attacks against Pakistan, coming over to Pakistan. So that's what our expectation is. Ji.
And connected to this, other than expectation, do you think this temporary ceasefire could be converted into a permanent ceasefire? Don't you think that after developing certain understandings in the last round of talks in Istanbul, now this TTA that you said, Tehreek-e-Taliban Afghanistan, also known as IEA, Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan, don't you think now they will also stick to the commitments which they made in Istanbul talks, that they will not resort to any violence or any further eventuality or attack against Pakistan? Of course, that is a separate thing. So, 2 points in this. One, the temporary ceasefire. Do you think that it could lead to a permanent ceasefire between Pakistan and Afghanistan?
Well, the ceasefire depends on the cessation of hostilities by Afghan side in terms of providing support to terrorists inside the TTP. If that doesn't happen, nothing will really stay. My sense is that the reluctance of the Taliban to give any written assurances could be either because of capacity, because they think that if they take on TTP, they will join the ISK or something, or it is because of the will, because they think that TTP are their ideological brothers and therefore they would like to support them till the last end. I don't know which one is true, but we want them to stop sending and stop giving space to TTP terrorists to come and shed Pakistani blood. Since 2021, each year has been more bloody than the previous.
And devastating indeed.
That's right. And 2024 was the bloodiest of all.
Exactly.
So therefore, I think the patience that Pakistan had shown in these 4 years has run out. And we don't really understand what they are doing, because the big attack that they made was when their foreign minister was sitting in
New Delhi. Exactly.
So that means that they were now trying to bring in India. There is a book by Avinash Pahliwal, My Enemy's Enemy. So I think the Taliban seem to be following that since India is Pakistan's enemy, they think that if they can hobnob with India, it will be good for them. It will not be good for them. They don't realize this thing, that it will not be good for them. They should start thinking of the future of the ordinary Afghans. They claim that there is a peace in Afghanistan. Why don't they accept all the refugees back if there is such a peace? The refugees are reluctant to go back because they see that the Taliban are playing games. They don't realize that for the people of Afghanistan, a peaceful Afghanistan is there, yes. But at the same time, this kind of space that they have given to terrorist entities is injurious to Afghanistan itself. It is not just Pakistan. I think Tajikistan is quite apprehensive of anti-Tajik groups, Islamist groups there. Uzbekistan is also apprehensive of Islamic movement of Uzbekistan. China is apprehensive of the presence of East Turkestan Islamic movement. Iran is quite apprehensive of Afghanistan's, giving space to terrorist entities. Every country in the world is concerned. So I think the Taliban are not getting it. On the other hand, if they were to have cordial relations with Pakistan, and they would see that so much opportunities of prosperity will open up for Afghanistan because of the regional projects between Central Asian republics and South Asia. If they want to really benefit the people of Afghanistan, they should change their approach. They must start thinking very differently from the way they are thinking at this time.
Ambassador Chaudhry Sahab, many people would be keenly interested to know, of course, you keep a very close eye on all these strategic matters, that, as I said earlier, Pakistan remained closely engaged with Taliban. And as you mentioned, this 2025-24, these 2 years had been quite deadly. Pakistan, both diplomatically, militarily, provided precise, credible intelligence information to Afghan Taliban that these are the places where terrorist hideouts, BLA, Majid Brigade, TTP and these all terrorist groups are based. Question is that what forced Afghan Taliban not to take action against them? Why they have been reluctant in taking action, which finally led to this conflict?
I think, Mateen Saib, that they have an illusion. An illusion that they won Kabul by force, by the dint of the gunpowder. No, they did not. Americans themselves went back because there was a consensus in the United States that they did not want to engage in distant wars. They were also apprehensive that Pakistan was giving support to the Taliban, which made it very difficult for them. So they had a complaint against Pakistan. So if Pakistan had not supported Taliban, if America had not decided to go back, Taliban would still be fighting in the mountains with no chance of coming back to Kabul, believe you me. They don't realize this thing. I think it's a mistake. And when sitting in New Delhi, the Afghan foreign minister says that Pakistan should remember that, British were defeated there, Russians were defeated there, Americans were defeated there. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. British were not defeated. In the Second Anglo-Afghan War, British won it decisively. And Abdul Rahman Khan, the then king of Afghanistan, had very, very clearly announced that he accepted the Durand Line as the border between British India and Afghanistan. And then this was ratified by the Loya Jirga on 13th November of 1893. It was again ratified during his son's time, Habibullah Khan's time. It was twice ratified during King Amanullah Khan's time, once in 2019, then in 2021. So there's no question of they having defeated the British. British wanted to keep Afghanistan as a buffer zone. That's why this Wakhan corridor was created against the Russian Empire. That was on the Russians. It was the Americans and the Pakistanis who forced the Russians to pull back. So they should not really take credit for that. And for the Americans, as I've already indicated, that they wanted to go back. So this kind of hubris demonstrated by Afghan foreign minister is ununderstandable. Pakistan has been their brother. Pakistan has taken blame for them. Pakistan has given shelter to millions of Afghans. Pakistan had opened up its ports for the goods of Afghanistan for trade and transit trade. Pakistan has opened up special desks in its hospitals for Afghans. Pakistan had opened up special seats and scholarships in its universities. Pakistanis had poured their heart out for Afghans. What is this? What kind of behavior is Taliban showing? And they will not benefit from this behavior because Pakistan has shown that it has the capacity to defend itself. If we can defend ourselves against a much bigger neighbor, India, in May 2025, and the world has seen that, then Taliban should be under no confusion. They should not think that they can win this war. Instead, they should cooperate and collaborate with Pakistan. There is much to gain for the people of Afghanistan, for the people of Pakistan, if there is cooperation between the two countries.
No question arises after Doha and Istanbul talks, although ceasefire is continuing. If these BLA, Majid Brigade, TTP, along with several other terrorist groups continue to attack Pakistan, despite Pakistan diplomatically engaged with Tehrik-e-Taliban Afghanistan, what option Pakistan has in case these attacks are continuing?
Pakistan should do three things. One, it should continue to pressurize through diplomatic means because the whole world is against the Taliban now. In the Moscow format, China, Russia, Pakistan, and Iran unanimously called upon them not to host terrorist entities. Exactly. Second, we should bring on the negotiating table all the facilities that Pakistan has given to Afghanistan, including trade and transit trade and all the things that I mentioned earlier. That should also be brought on the table because these can also become a subject of review if the Taliban don't change their mind. And three, Pakistan should take kinetic action wherever required because it is just not acceptable to the people of Pakistan that the TTP will continue to come and raid Pakistan and shed our blood. internally also there is something that we can do. I think we should build a consensus within the country that TTP has nobody's friends. We have negotiated with them many, many times. You remember in Swat in 2009 when we negotiated with them? They started challenging the state of Pakistan. They started challenging the Supreme Court of Pakistan, this political system of Pakistan. I think we need to also internally build up this consensus. The biggest losers in the sense of lives has been the KPK province, where they have been attacking regularly. So I think KPK also must come on board in this entire fight against Taliban-sponsored TTP attacks. I think we should not accept. We should not lower our guard. We should not accept any such aggression by TTP elements.
Excellency, another question rises. Other than Afghan Taliban, there are other elements in Afghanistan, political parties, other political groups, other religious groups. Do you think they endorse the Kabul narrative on this security situation against Pakistan, and they endorse Kabul's narrative, which is that, as you said, and it is generally believed that they strongly ideologically they are the partners with TTP. So do you think other religious and political groups, factions endorse Kabul's narrative, whatever narrative Kabul is now sharing with India?
Yeah, one is hearing that there are other groups which are now raising their head. But I would say,
against them.
Mateen, Haider Sahab.
Against them.
Yeah, against them. Yeah, against the Taliban. But I would say, Mateen Sahab, that I would like to see Afghanistan to be treated as an independent sovereign country with we having nothing to do with them. They can do whatever they like in terms of political setup, in terms of their economic preferences. We should, I think, close our borders with them until they give a written commitment that they will not allow terror to flow from Afghanistan to Pakistan. I think this is very important. Earlier, I used to be very liberal about it, and I would always say
exactly
that we should keep the borders open all the time, no matter what. But if you continue to shed Pakistani blood, what do you expect? I think I have changed my mind. I used to be very open on it, but I believe this is a red line. Shedding Pakistani blood is a red line that the Taliban are committing. And therefore, we should make it very, very clear to them that unless we have foolproof assurances from them, unless we have a mechanism to monitor that the Taliban do not violate their commitment, we will not open our borders.
So that's true, but of course, as Turkey has also offered, and in a recent meeting in Tehran, Pakistani Interior Minister met the Iranian president. He offered to mediate. Turkey was already mediating. What do you think how other countries of the region, Russia and China, they must also be quite concerned about this rising conflict?
They all are, Qatar, Turkey, Iran, Central Asian republics, Russia, China, everybody is concerned. And everybody wants to help. They know that it is Pakistan today, tomorrow it will be somebody else. If Islamic State, so-called Islamic State, if Al-Qaeda, takes roots there, and the Taliban will simply run away from Kabul like they did earlier, and the whole region will suffer from that. And therefore, I believe that all these countries will continue to push pressure on the Taliban regime. And as I said, whether there is a regime change there, whether there is something else, Pakistan should simply stay out of that mess. We will help only if they want to be helped. We don't want to impose ourselves. We should close our borders. Let them settle their country first. Yes, diplomatically, we should remain engaged. Yes, diplomatically, we should also liaise with all other neighbors of Afghanistan to make sure that the Afghans that the Afghan Taliban, not all Afghans are good people, but the Taliban Afghan have proven that they will not be stopping the GDP, and that is something which is not acceptable to Pakistan.
Lastly, I would like to seek your opinion. America wanted to get this Bagram airbase for counterterrorism operations or to keep eye on all regional countries, including Iran, China, Russia, Central Asia. The purpose is counterterrorism. And if counterterrorism, do you think still there is any terrorist threat to the international community that America wanted to come? Or the purpose could be surveillance or spying?
When a superpower comes into your neighborhood, it's not only for counterterrorism. Okay, it will always be for strategic interests.
Purposes.
So that is a given. It will happen. Yeah, strategic purposes will be there. But whether the Americans will come to Bagram is not really decided yet. I'm not too sure what the status is now.
So finally, I would like to seek your last comment about since, as you mentioned, over last many decades, both countries have been enjoying very good relation, Pakistan and Afghanistan. How do you see, and you very nicely mentioned that without peace in Afghanistan, this dream of connectivity from Afghanistan to Central Asia, then Pakistan is already pushing already a railway network. So how you see the dream of this economic development, which is closely connected with peace and security. Can we achieve peace and security in Afghanistan? If it is so, then what is option available?
The ball is in Taliban's court. If they really want to help their people benefit from the fruits of connectivity, then they should change their approach. Their hostile approach towards Pakistan or even other neighbors will not serve the people. Until they change their mind, Mateen, Aizaz, there is nothing that we can do. We will continue to press them, but we should wait until they change their mind.
Thank you so much indeed. Very insightful discussion with Pakistan's former ambassador to the US, former foreign secretary, who currently also heads a very vibrant, very active think tank, Sanobar Institute, as JBIN, and keep delivering lectures, keep appearing shows, not many, but especially in ours, for which we are quite grateful to you. Until our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.